Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Friends Podcast, man. Thank you so much for joining us. If it's your first time, thank you for coming through. We appreciate all the listeners, new and old, for sure. My name is Matt, and I'm here with my two co-hosts.
What's up, y'all? It's Jermaine.
And I'm Rod. This is the Friends Podcast. Make sure you check us out. We're streaming everywhere: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our streaming platform on YouTube at the Friends Pod, TikTok, Instagram, all that.
You know, I was just going to say, random thought of the day. What's the word that every time you have to spell, you get irritated? Where you're like, why the fuck can I spell this one word? I can tell you mine because I had to deal with this today.
Okay.
I, for the life of me, for $1 million, cannot spell aesthetics. Which is very annoying considering how often I wanted to say to somebody over text, oh, I really like this aesthetic. And then I can never say that, so I gotta send oh, yo, this is my vibe. I spell it so wrong that the iPhone can't even figure out what's what to replace it with.
I can't relate to this. I'm actually not dumb.
Are you a great speller?
No, just playing. I'm just playing. I'm not even gonna say I'm a great speller, but most of the word I spell words that I know how to use. I don't try to do onomatopoeia. I ain't trying to do anti-disestablishmentarianism. I'm not trying to do all those things. I feel like things that there are a lot of words that I feel like is spelled weirdly though, things with silent P's, silent G's, psychology,
I hate psychology is another one I hate. Hate spelling psychology.
Cause it's why is the P? What's the P? What is the point? You know what I mean? But Rod, you got any words like that just be beating your ass sometimes?
Tortilla.
This nigga, as long as I've known this nigga does not. He would anytime it's a double L in Mexican, this nigga will never. This nigga would never say it's left. I'm this nigga, he go die with this one. He take this one to the grave.
I'll also be saying empanada.
I think that's how you say it.
That's how you say it, yeah. That's right. Now, how you spell it, that's another thing. I don't know if I can tell you about that, but that is how you say it, I think.
I don't know. I think my problem is saying words, not spelling. But, I feel like a lot of words trip me up. What was I trying to say the other day? I don't know. If it's a lot of, S's or a lot of R's, it'd be I don't know. I'm just going to try to use a substitute or something like that.
Oh, shoot. My mind went blank on that one. That I hadn't thought about that. Words that you can, spell but you can't say. But is there a saying on that same line, a saying that you didn't realize you fucked up till a lot later? I used to always say, the vein of my existence. It took me a long time to realize it was the vein. No. I was very grown.
I feel like there is, but I'll use somebody else as an example because I want to shit on them. One of my friends, he'll say mine as well, not might as well. And it's I've told this nigga through text, I said it's might as well. And years later, this nigga will still say mine as well. I think people know that this shit pisses me off, so they just do shit like this.
But see, it sucks when you say it, and then as you say it, you know it's wrong. I've done that before where as I'm saying the words, I'm that's definitely not what this saying is. And if it's somebody who doesn't really know me for real, they kind of try to look a little confused when they try to be okay, I'm going to let her rock with it, or maybe that's really what it is. Mm-hmm. And so I've got away with, like I said, the vein of my existence for a long time. Long time. Can
you tell somebody you don't know, isn't that kind of rude to be nah, it's Bane, not Vane? I feel like that'd be weird.
I mean, I think you could say in a polite way, oh, I think it's actually the bane. Did you mean the bane of my existence? I think there is a way you could say it. But honestly, when people fuck up what they're saying, I just let them rock with it too. I'm I get the vibe.
Especially if you get the gist of what they're trying to say. It's all right. You're just a dumbass. But okay, I'm gonna let this shit ride. I guess with that being said, we can get into these topics that we got. Let's get into this episode. Man, who want to intro that first one?
I'll intro it. So there was a TikTok this week that went viral, I guess. And it was a woman who had a corporate job where she was making $115,000 a year. She was an IT worker. And her job went through some massive layoffs. And she was one of the people who got let go. Even though she was a top performer. Got let go with no notice. And now she's actually working at Chipotle for $15 an hour. And she was saying like, yo, every family vacation I ever took at this company, I worked on vacation. I took my laptop with me. You know, I always felt like I would be rewarded at the end, but obviously that didn't happen. And now she's like, yeah, take that $15 an hour job and roll burritos. Your mental health is more important than your salary.
Man, she couldn't find no job? She couldn't find nothing else? Another IT job? $115,000 in an IT worker to Chipotle is super drastic.
That is a very drastic change. I mean, you know how the IT market is, or just like the job market is right now with corporate shit. Like, you know, we talked about the layoffs at Meta. We talked about the layoffs at, Salesforce and stuff like that. So maybe she really just couldn't find something else.
Yeah, pretty much all the tech companies have massive layoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder where she living at now. Like, it could have been like the same place, or maybe she has a partner who makes some good money probably. Because just to be so content as she was in the video to be at Chipotle, like she I don't know, she seemed too chill for it. Because like your entire lifestyle, like everything you do, like where you go, you can't even spend money the same or go do things like you would want to normally do with Chipotle money that you could with your IT check. So I don't know, that's too drastic of a change for me.
You know what I feel like would be a good fallback? I don't know if this is going to be obsolete in a minute, but like being a truck driver or something. Like get my CDL.
And they do make good money.
They make really good money. And not a lot of time with your family, but, you know, like she probably wasn't having time with her family anyway. She said she was working during holidays and, you know, getting called in during off hours. So, like, what's the trade-off? You know, not too big of a trade-off there.
Yeah, and if you're single and don't have a family, then shoot, you know, that might be the look.
Or you can be a barber. Barbers be charging so much to cut hair nowadays.
Woo.
Especially with them house calls.
What's the most you ever paid for a haircut?
I'm gonna say 100.
Yeah, because I don't know, all the like grooming stuff has gone crazy high. Why is that so funny?
No, because it's funny because I had told somebody, me and Rob, we talked about haircuts before, like a while ago, and I told one of my homeboys the other day, like, yeah, my homeboy, he be, he said, I was like, my homeboy, he be going to the barbershop, but he be getting the facials, and he was like, pause. I was like, no, you know, like the shit with the that shit was funny to me. You're not amused, right? Right is not amused.
Yeah, I get a facial with every haircut. Like, I'm mad that niggas is upset that I take care of myself and they don't. They dirty and dusty. And they need to get their life together. Like, women go to get their nails, they get their feet, all that stuff like that. And then, I don't know, men go in there and get a pedicure or something like that and just make sure they clean. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, women like a man who keeps himself together.
So does the $100 include the facial?
Oh, you just asked what was my most expensive time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not paying $100 for a facial and a haircut. Now I'm paying like $60.
Oh, okay. Now these barbers and beauticians, man, are taxing. So actually, I would not be mad at her to make a career choice into, you know, cutting some hair or something in the beauty realm.
You know, the thing about that is you have to learn how to do that, though. Like, you don't really got to learn how to make guacamole and, like, Fiesta chicken or whatever the fuck they be making. Like, I won't want to.
You do.
I mean, you do, but it's not as long as it's taking to, like, know how to fade.
True. And you got to pay to go to beauty school. Like, that's, like, what, like a 9-month or so commitment versus Chipotle will have you working the next day.
Come get this rice out the thing. Like, No, but I do like that idea though. Like if you could do something where it's like you're working for yourself, like I was talking about the pressure wash and shit,
Mm-hmm.
barber. Like I feel like that would be the best thing. But who knows how much she has saved up? If she was making 115K a year, I don't know if it says where she lived at. But and if she had a partner, then shit, she's probably saving hella money. She could put that into doing something else. I think that would be the best, the best thing to do. But
Yeah, so I don't think she's like in a bad situation. And hey, if she's doing what she loves and she's having fun making burritos, all the power to her.
Yeah, I just coming from the tech side of things, like that is mad stressful. Like they just announced somebody a week ago at Google, the engineer at the New York office actually committed suicide. He jumped off the building at the office.
Whoa.
And this is the second suicide that Google New York, the New York office alone, has had. In just the last 6 months, they had somebody else who committed suicide back in February. So I definitely think there is something to be said about like that environment of tech that is messing into people's mental health so much that it's like, yo, screw the $115,000. Give me 15 an hour in peace and I'll take it.
I'm glad you said that because that was kind of going to be my next thing that I brought up was like setting boundaries because, my first thought when you said that is like, what the hell are they working on for it to be like, or it might not be work related, but I'm assuming it's going to be work related if he jumped off the Google building at work, so it's like, what are they working on? What kind of demands do they have from their bosses and their higher ups? So I kind of wanted to talk about like setting boundaries at work. I feel like that's sometimes tough, when working under people, when you got a boss and stuff. But like, is that easy for y'all to be like, no, I'm not coming, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not coming in. No, I'm not doing extra work. Like, is that easy for y'all to do? Because it's not for me.
Not necessarily. I mean, I think with tech, there's always somebody new who's trying to come up. There's always a new competitor. There's always a current competitor who's got, the newest, latest, and greatest, and you're always competing back and forth for that. So it's hard to be able to say, no, I'm not going to do this. The person who committed suicide was an engineer. Like you are on the forefront of creating new product, getting new products out, fixing product. Like, yeah, there's never really going to be a natural pause. And the same is really true for like any org in tech. Like it's hard to find a moment to take a pause. Everybody has, in most tech companies, you have either shares in the company or you have the potential to buy in. And so you're thinking about like not just what you're making today, but the long-term implications of your work. Your coworkers are thinking about that. It's just a culture of like, hey, there's no need to pause because you can work from anywhere at any time. So why do you need to take vacation?
Right.
And yeah, like I've talked about this a little bit before on the pod, but I left my job after 7 years last summer for that exact reason. Like I was so mentally burnt out. Like a vacation wasn't enough. I had plenty of vacation days. It wasn't that. Like it was that vacation days weren't really vacation days. You're still working. You're still checking emails. Clients are still asking for you. Your peers are still checking for you. And quite frankly, like back in the day when I first graduated college, I worked at a community college. And I used to look at that job and be like, this isn't the corporate job of my dreams, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But looking back, my life was so much easier back then. It was so simple. I went to work. I was at work and then I left work. And then when I got a quote unquote fancy corporate job, fancy tech job, I was working all the time.
Did you ever feel like that was the job of your dreams? Like, what point did it get to? Like, when you first came on, was it straight like, oh, I'm doing work off hours all the time, or did it like build up to that? Because I feel like that's how they get you. I feel like they'd be like, oh no, you good right now, but in 2 years we're gonna have you doing shit off the clock and during vacation, shit like that.
My first job, my like entry level job, I felt like I had a little bit more work life balance. It was a job that I like technically like didn't need to be doing on vacations or after hours. But then I started to notice that like my peers who were doing work after hours, they're the ones who were getting promoted. So then of course it leads to like, okay, well, if I want to get promoted like this person, then yeah, I need to be not doing 40 hours, but I need to be doing 50 hours, 60 hours. And I need to like, I was hourly at the time when I very first started. You know, then there
But
was
do they pay you extra?
So that's what I was going to say. I started doing that. I started like racking up the hours. And then my manager was like, no, you need to be able to do all this extra work and not do it in more than 40 hours. So then that means you end up doing work basically for free because you want to get promoted, you want to get recognition, but you can't work quote unquote more than 40 hours. It was like horribly stressful. Worst time ever. Would not recommend.
You can go to hell.
Yeah, it was
I'm not
horrible.
gonna work for free.
Hell no.
Horrible.
Well, after the 40 hours is up and my 8 hours is done, like I'm gone. That's it.
Man. So I get why she feels that way.
That's how you always been, right? Like you always leaving at 5 o'clock, never doing extra shit.
Always. I'm always on time. Every day I get off at the same time.
Have you ever had a manager who's like tried to pressure you into like, oh, can you like, you know, work on this a little bit later, or like just make sure that this gets done no matter how many hours you got to put into it?
I guess like I've had like a project, like when I first got started, and it was more like my bad time management though. Like I could have got it done in time, but I was kind of bullshitting on the clock a little bit, just chilling at my desk a little bit too much, and it was just kind of being new and not knowing how to schedule my work. But that's the only time I ever worked after hours, like not getting paid. But now it's like I'm getting my work done like before the time for real anyway. Like I'm just more experienced at my job and position, so
That's real.
I never even have like that issue where my projects really run over or I'm like stressing.
You touched on a good point, which is like time management. I feel like nobody teaches you that when you first start a job. Like when you first move from like college life to career life, nobody really teaches you. At least for me, I didn't learn time management. I had to learn it the hard way by being like behind on work, like stressed about hitting deadlines.
Yeah, that's everyone when they first get started.
No, that's a fact. But I feel like college, that's what college is for, to teach you time management, because really we got so many papers due. We got exams at a certain time of the semester. Like we should learn time management during college. I know a lot of people don't, because I failed multiple classes in college. I skipped a lot of a lot of classes and shit like that too. So I wasn't trying to learn, but in theory, that's where you should be getting those skills at.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be, but too, like, everybody's schedule is different. Like, some people, especially some semesters, right? Like, some semesters you have, like, sure, I got 4 or 5 classes, but all of these I can literally show up to, not study, still ace. Like, some of these things are just so natural to me or easy or whatever. They're like, I don't really have to have a lot of time management. At least that's what I experienced. Like, there were certain classes I had to put time into, but there were also just equally the same number of classes where I'm like, man, I could write this paper in 3 hours if I need to. Versus when I got to the corporate world, I would have the same mentality about certain projects. Like, I can put together this pitch in a solid 4 hours. But truthfully, like, it wasn't really 4 hours because I had to send it to the client and get the client's approval. I had to like talk to my teammate, get their approval. I had to show it to my manager. So like I was just always underestimating my time because I wasn't thinking about the other people that needed to like chime in on my work.
And I've heard from friends and things of that nature that they work with some international employers, and sometimes the clients are at different time zones. So you just have to be always available at certain times for certain meetings. And I don't know, that thing can get kind of stressful. But I got this another question for you, kind of related. Is if you're getting paid all that money, is it kind of worth the stress?
I think there's a line. Like I think there's a point where the money is not worth the stress. I think you kind of have to determine that for yourself. Like you said earlier, Rod, like $115,000 and $15 an hour is a big drop. That means unless you have a lot saved, everything in your lifestyle is going to change. But there's also a point where like for her, for example, the difference between 115 and 125,000 might be it might not be enough to take way more stress for a job that pays $10,000 more, for example, if it's going to be twice as stressful. Like, I think everybody has to have that line for themselves, like, y'all, like for me, for example, as I've been like kind of looking at jobs and applying for jobs, I saw this one role that was going to pay stupid. And I had a call with the recruiter and they were like, yeah, we're looking for somebody who's gritty and a self-starter and, you know, somebody who's competitive, all these things where I was like, this sounds like you are about to, to put the pedal to the metal and have me working like crazy. But the pay would have been worth it for a short period of time. It was so much money that it's like, shoot, if you want me for 80 hours a week, you got it. You might only have me for a year, but you would have me for that time.
To answer your question, I think it is worth the stress, especially at a younger age. Like me being a single man, not in my 30s yet, but getting to my 30s is on the way. I feel like it's just time. Like if you're gonna grind and be stressed out and be sleep deprived and be this, that, and the third, I feel like now is the time to do that.
Yeah, when you're young.
Exactly. So I don't want to be 55 and be like, oh nah, like I'm still stressed about the same job. I want to get to a point where I done stacked up so much money. And it also depends on where you live though. Like if the money is good and puts you in that upper middle class, high class, whatever you want to call it, like, yeah, you might as well be stressed out. You know what I mean? Like stress builds diamonds. You feel me?
So what's the cutoff for you though? Like what's that right quota of stress and money? Like if somebody was like, yo, I'll pay you $350,000 tomorrow, but you're going to be working 100 hours a week. Like at what point would you be like, I'm okay?
What am I doing 100 hours a week though? Like I feel like what needs that? Like I got to be the CEO if I'm doing 100 hours a week.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe you're the CEO of a company.
Shit, hell yeah. If it's something that I like to do, I'm doing that for 350.
But let's say you don't like to do it, but you'll be the CEO and you'll make $350K a year.
See, now that changes things because I feel like that will be probably that'll probably be the biggest part of the stress is like, I don't even fuck with doing this. Why am I doing this shit? But I think like you said, like, you know, got to stay there long term for real. So I think I might try to stick it out. You know what I mean? For that type of money, especially living in Michigan, like that's.
In Michigan, that's next level. Yeah.
I'm about to be living next to Kid Rock and whoever the fuck live, wherever the fuck. Like, I'm
next to Kid Rock and Eminem.
Yeah.
And Gilbert.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I'm gonna be balling on these niggas. Like courtside at the Pistons. I'm finna be buffs
for every day of the week.
Buffs for everybody.
I mean, you ain't gonna have no time. You're gonna always be at work. Gonna be stuck with your coworkers.
Damn.
Not even your coworkers, because they'll be your like underlings. You'll be the CEO, so you can't even really stunt on them.
Yeah, they're already gonna know you got it. They're gonna be like, oh, there you go, in the night suit again.
As long as I have like a cool like executive assistant that you know, I feel like that's the stress relief though, right? Like I feel like you got an executive assistant like, hey, so you got 15?
I can't even laugh at that. You know that's frowned upon, right? You can't use your power like that.
It's not illegal. You said frowned upon. Motherfuckers frown every day. What you talking about? Motherfuckers frown every day. Keep frowning. But yeah, I feel like, you know, like, hey, why not? Why not just do it? Why not see what it's gonna do? Because most positions in the world will not afford you that type of salary. You know what I mean? Unless you're a doctor, lawyer, rapper, basketball player. You know what I mean? So like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I think we can go ahead and get into this next topic, man. This one's gonna be, man. We had an interesting time earlier talking about this one. We had to, you know, do a little evidence checking. I don't know what's the actual term about that, but
fact checking.
A little fact checking. That's a good term for it. So let's kind of get into it. So I think everybody has heard, you know, or maybe you haven't, you know, seen the story about Freddie Gibbs and his soon-to-be baby mother. What is her name? The Fit Mami.
Mm-hmm.
Also
Destini.
Also Destini Creams on Twitter. If you wanted to go take a look, take a gander. But yeah, a lot of things have been happening.
I think that says it all right there.
That's really it though. But I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to have a conversation about like this whole situation that's going on. So, quick breakdown. He met a girl. She's a porn star. She be on OnlyFans. Um, he got her pregnant. She was fucking while pregnant in videos that we seen. The whole world has seen, and so I guess it's kind of a conversation about, like, is that disrespect? Since that's somebody else's baby, and she on camera with, what I'm saying, like getting stuffed. Like, so let's talk about that. Like, is that disrespectful to y'all? Like, to me, I feel like it's fine. I feel like get your money. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I wholeheartedly feel. Get your money. Y'all not together no more. Like, do it. But how y'all feel about that?
Elaborate on that more, though. I want to hear you say more about that.
I mean, listen. Like that's her profession. I was saying earlier that, it's one of the only jobs where, like, on maternity leave you can still be popping. So it's like you don't get maternity leave. You can still get on camera, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Do something strange for some change. And I feel like I respect it. I don't know. I respect sex workers and
Man,
OnlyFans
Freddie
girls.
Gibbs Jr. is crying in there.
You think so?
That's all I gotta say. Like, he's going through it. Like how, like how many people on these videos that's just been going in her
Raw dog.
on camera,
Yep.
running trains on her on Adam 22's platform? It's disgusting.
Yeah, so we saw a video a little bit earlier of
We saw 2 videos. At least I did.
well, I seen 3 actually, but who's coming? Who's coming? So she went on. If you want to look it up, I'm just gonna give you out a game right quick. Just look up fit Mami porn,
Please use your incognito window, though. Please.
or not if you just a freaky type person. But no, fit Mami MAMI porn on Google. So I found a video. So it was like the first 16, 17 minutes was an interview. And then, like, just randomly, the dude was like, all right, let's get it going, and started busting it down. 2 dudes, 1 girl, which was
What was
her.
the interview about, though?
I ain't watched that damn interview.
You skipped it?
I was listening. I started at the beginning. I'm like, why they got their clothes on? I was like, what is this? So, like, I was skipping around, and it was like, like when you skip something, be like, like, it was one of those things.
You just hovered over like the little the time at the bottom to be like, where are they naked?
Exactly. But I went a little bit too far, so I was like, oh wait. I got to see how it wraps up though. So when it wrapped up, like, dude was like, let's see if you still got it. You know what I'm saying? They started doing what they was doing, and that's what it was. But so, Rod, you answered my question. You pretty much answered the question of, like, it's disrespectful. But Jermaine, I want to hear your take. Like, is she like filed for this, even if they not together no more?
So, like you said, yes, this is her profession. And so you doing it in a relationship is one thing, but I just feel like you're pregnant with a whole other man's baby. Like, not only are you having sex with somebody else, but you're doing it on camera. That's wild to me. Wild. And I'm not trying to judge her, but shoot, I am judging. Like, you chose to have this baby. You made a big stink about it on the internet. About, I wanted this baby. I waited too long to have an abortion, blah, 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 blah. If you want this baby, then why not give the baby a comfortable living environment, a comfortable environment to grow, a comfortable, like, way to come into the world? You start the baby's, I don't know, like, the pre-life with you doing porn in a van?
Turbulence.
Raw? That's wild to me. Wild.
I mean, my thing, at least you can't get pregnant again. Like, she already pregnant.
Oh, I'm sure she's booked and busy. I'm sure.
Oh, she is.
Is he on tour?
Is he on tour?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Why do you ask?
No, I'm saying, like, he should go on tour or something. Just occupy his mind with something else.
Yeah, he got to get his mind off this shit.
He got to go on tour for 9 months.
Like, she put a whole text thread out on Twitter about, like, all his text messages. He was all lovey-dovey and shit. And now it's like, bro, you got to take your mind off that.
Yeah.
She was holding him in them texts. Like, you think she was right for putting out them texts, Jermaine?
I don't understand what the goal of that is. Like, that was what was so weird to me, is like the messy side of me. I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed seeing what was going on in other people's drama. But on the practical side, like, if you want this man to be involved with you, the baby, whatever, like, why do you think blasting him on the internet is going to make him be like, let me step up and be a father? Like, that's not what's going to happen. If anything, he's really about to hate your ass at this point. So I don't know what she thought she was getting with that. I'm very confused.
No, that's a good point. It's like if I already know you can't keep it low and keep things to the chest, then we're gonna have to co-parent from afar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she put everything. I still don't know anything about. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just going to agree with you. She put everything. She had videos in the thread. She had the text in the thread. That was like at least 10 tweets in that thread of her going into detail about their situation. Like, she'd even just say, like, yo, by the way, yes, if you know, me and Freddie used to date and we did conceive a child. We're not together anymore. Please don't ask questions. She was like, I'm giving y'all all the tea. What you want to know? I got receipts for days.
But it's like, who was the receipts for though? Like, is it for?
Man, she had a whole thread of just like all that shit though. Man, like
Multiple tweets?
it's kind of crazy. Like this other thread I had saw though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The other thread that I had saw was this. It was _King Ari. She was like, the fact that she wants to feel bad for her is crazy. She's a whole whore. Poor Freddie.
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, there's just so many elements to this. The more I think about it, the more complex it gets. I feel, as a woman, I feel bad for her that he was like telling her, oh, I want to have a baby, da 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 da, and then backed out. But then she doesn't fix the issue by then doing porn while pregnant. I'm like, now I don't feel so bad for you.
And then posting it up though, like, we wouldn't have never known. We would have never known that you was doing porn and had new video drop. Like,
I'm sorry, no amount of money is worth that to me. The lack of self-respect. I'm sorry. Sorry, beloved.
I don't get that. You know, it's kind of sick. Actually, so if you look at the the thumbnail of like one of her videos when she was in the back of the bus, the nigga looking at her like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Like, the nigga is looking very just concerned.
He was honestly like low-key disgusted.
He looking at Freddie Jr. like nah, bro, I'm sorry. But I'm getting the biggest check for this. Like,
yeah, I was wondering, like, dude, is that, because that was gonna be my point earlier. Like, I feel like you might get paid more if you're pregnant in porns.
Probably. I don't know. I think there's a good chance because of the novelty of it.
Yeah, like, I feel like you might. So I mean, that made me respect her even more, because it's like she going out here to get this money for real.
Yeah, plus it's a rapper, child. We wouldn't be talking about this if it wasn't Freddie Gibbs. So
1,000%.
It's even more money on top because more people are tuned in, more people watching. Mm-hmm. Probably she got more subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never heard her before.
You know, I think this goes down to the conversation, like, people doing things. Like, she really posted these things and, you know, put this whole thread up just for attention for herself and for her brand. And I used to not respect it, but I feel like I've seen it so many times at this point, like people just making drama just for no reason, or people doing this or that just for a subscription. Like, I kind of respect it at this point, because it's like, you're still fooling people. Like, we still shouldn't care about these things. We still shouldn't even know about these things. People still falling for it. People still liking the tweets, retweeting it. And we talking about it.
Yeah, so she could have kept it to herself, but
she could have kept that shit right in her photos. On her iPhone.
Everybody talking about now.
But I think it brings up like a lot of good conversations. Like, I don't really care so much about like the two of them per se. But it's like some of the lessons, so to speak, that are coming up in this. Like, I feel like from a woman's perspective, it's a good reminder, like, yo, you got to be careful, like, what a man says that you listen to. Like, you really got to look for action. Because Freddie was definitely giving it up in those texts.
For sure.
He was giving it up. But then again, on the flip side, like, sometimes, I hate to say it, part of that is just part of a relationship. Like when you're in a good space, like you both just be saying stuff to each other that sounds good in the moment that you don't necessarily mean. Now he was saying a lot with yo, have my baby, let's get married. But women also like, oh my goodness, you're the best I've ever had. Like that's something you say in the moment because it sounds good.
Man, that's how Freddie texts him.
Yeah.
Like he really be in love. Like he was in love with.
He was in love. So I know she's sick.
She was just going to work sucking dick.
Getting nutted in her mouth.
His like it's just crazy. He was really like pouring his heart out for her, and then she just over there getting plowed every day, talking about yeah, me too.
Literally, me too, with a heart emoji. Like, bitch, fuck out of here. No, but if you read the text, like you can see, like he'll be like, babe, like I really love you. Really, like I can see you this going on forever. Like, ooh, like 5-6 texts, and then she'd be like, yeah, me too, babe.
She ain't thinking about that
At all.
She really recovering. Like for real. What?
I don't know why my pussy hurts so much. Like, I know why.
She got vegetables down there.
No,
frozen vegetables.
If she on, oh, you talking about ice pack for real. Big ice pack.
You know she practicing Kegels. But Freddie be acting like that.
I feel like that's not even the worst part. I feel like it's the fact that she really just be having other dudes' members just in her mouth, just like.
Yes, and then kisses him.
I hope they ain't kiss. Freddie, please tell me you ain't kissed that woman.
Oh, I'm sure they did. After
the shoot.
Do you feel like it was Freddie's job? If he really loved her, if he really meant the things that he said, do you think that it was Freddie's responsibility to be like, babe, like, you don't have to do this anymore. However much you're getting paid from this, like, let me retire you from this.
I feel like she loved the game. She loved the hustle. Like, you know what I mean? Because we know Freddie Gibbs got money. Like, he dropped many albums. He's a world-renowned
Grammy nominated.
Like, great rapper.
Who said that in the movie?
Paid in Full.
That's Paid in Full. That was Mekhi Phifer character.
Oh, that's who she is?
Yeah, I love the game. I love the
Like, she loved the shit. She loved
this shit.
Well, they still gonna remember me, man.
No, for real. Like, she has to at this point, because she know that Freddie could probably, like, break her off something. Like, they probably had the conversation. I'm sure they talked about it, and she was like, nah, babe, I just love my work so much.
We just talked about Chipotle is paying $15 an hour. You get a $15 an hour Chipotle job. Mm-hmm. And have Freddie break you off a little something. That's more than enough to pay the bills.
And I'm sure she probably already getting child support from the other nigga.
Exactly.
So, like, she really didn't have to do this. Like, you didn't have to.
She had other options. I looked up some history about her, and she started off, like, the reason why her name is the Fit Mami is she used to be, like, a personal trainer, fitness girl on Instagram. Like, girl, just go back to that. When you got pregnant, just promote, like, the fitness stuff.
Her body is crazy. So, like, yeah, they would listen to her. Like,
she would have made money off that.
Like, she could do it even more now. Like, she could really take the Black China route and get out the game.
She's still working out.
Exactly.
Oh, she working out already.
Yeah, she doing her stretches.
Cardio. It's cardio, stretches, Kegels, like you said. Like, she working out. You know what? Let's leave this topic alone before she.
What does Amber Rose think?
Oh, you know what?
Oh, we know what Amber thinks.
Go girl.
We know Amber thinks. I do think before we get off this topic, so like,
shout out to her.
Going back to what I said earlier, like, are there lies that you think are acceptable within a relationship? What is and is not acceptable?
I'm gonna keep it real. Yes, there are lies that are acceptable. I can't give you an example, but I feel like little lies that protect this is gonna make me seem like a terrible partner, but it's okay. Lies that protect the person's, like, feelings are okay to me.
So what Freddie did, was that okay then? Because I mean, in the moment he did protect her feelings, like, hey, we can have a baby, I'm gonna be here for you.
That's different though. I feel like okay, like if it was like where you been? I was at the studio, knowing you wasn't at the studio, but you really wasn't doing shit. Like you was doing some shit that she probably like you was like, oh, like you was out drinking or something. Like, I was at the studio. Like those kind of lies. Not like I want to build a whole world with you and all that type of shit. Like that's crazy. You shouldn't lie about that because I feel like why? Why you gotta lie to her? She a porn star. Like what are you lying to her for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a different type of drama that's been going on lately amongst the white rappers.
Mm.
Yeah, so Jack Harley has said on his most recent album, Jack Man, he said, I'm the hardest white boy since the one who rapped about vomited sweaters, which he's talking about Eminem. And hold the comments because I promise you I'm honestly better than whoever came to your head right then. And you know, I feel like that was a shot at MGK. And MGK, he responded with on Renegades, which is a Eminem beat. We all know that he was in a beef with Eminem back in the day. And yeah, it looks like Jack Harlow has been real quiet since MGK released that diss. What do we think about that?
Are there any other white rappers who are even in the conversation for like best white rapper at the moment?
Logic.
That's fair. I'm not mad at that. Shoot, I was gonna say, I mean, I've been watching the new season of Dave, Lil Dicky.
Stop it. Stop
Hey,
this. He good at acting. He got a good show, but his music, no, he not a good. He not no.
you don't think Lil Dicky has bars?
The same nigga said. The nigga said I woke up in a black man body or whatever the fuck. No, that shit was garbage. There's really nobody else in the conversation, white rapper wise. I mean,
That's alive right now. I can't think of anybody else. For real.
so you saying Mac Miller?
I'm saying that's alive.
But Mac Miller is that who you're thinking of?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Mac Miller. I would say Mac Miller was probably one of the best white rappers. I mean, of course, Eminem is on there. I mean, them two. And then I don't know. I mean, you heard Jack Harlow's album? You thought it was good?
Did I hear Jack Harlow's album?
You may.
I heard the single.
Like I actually heard a few songs. Like he hard. It's like he can rap for real.
I definitely got to check it out because I did listen to his last album. And while there were some moments on there that I liked, it didn't really do much for me, to be honest. I like his personality. I like his persona. I think he's charismatic. But in terms of like his actual music, there were maybe like one or two songs that stood out to me, and that was about it. So
Yeah, I just feel like me personally, I just don't pay attention to what he's saying.
So how you know it's good?
No, I heard a few songs, but it's just like it's cool bars like at the time, but I don't know. It's nothing that makes me really come back. I don't really relate to him.
his raps to me are like the definition of white girl raps. Like music that college white girls like. And that, yes, it's hip hop, but they're bars that are easy to remember. They're easy to recite. Like if you're at a party, they sound cute for you to like be able to get off. But they're not necessarily things that like really make you stop and go like, wow, he's really spitting. But I'm going to give his new album a try because I keep hearing that this album is a progression from his last one.
Yeah, and what do we think about the MGK and like his response?
Man, honestly, I really don't pay any attention to MGK. Zero. I don't really know much about him these days, except for that he's like now on like this punk music kick and dating Megan Fox or whatever. But he went in on that diss. Like that was actually fire.
He could rap. I always thought MGK could rap though. Like back in like 2010, like way back then, like he was rapping. But if we talking about the best white rappers, like this is rapper named LP. He real good. The one he be rapping with Killer Mike on Run the Jewels. Like
Oh yeah.
there's other like options. Just I'm just saying like it's underground.
Come
shit,
on
like,
now.
no, but I'm saying Jack Harlow though, like the same nigga who said, "Give me a eh." The nigga really remixed motherfucking Gwen Stefani or whoever the fuck. Like Nah, man.
Fergie.
Fergie.
But I feel you. I feel you.
Same person. but like, I don't know. Like, it's other
I don't know. If
options.
Drake can be at the top, why can't Jack Harlow be at the top of white rappers?
He can. But I'm already just not like once I might have even considered listening to Jack Man, but like now that you're saying he the best white rapper, then like now that I heard that he said that, I'm definitely not listening now because don't even do that to Mac. Really? This nigga
So you
acting. Go ahead. Mac Miller ain't never acted. This nigga made beats and he was rapping and he was with black people, chilling, making jazzy shit. Like, get Jack Harlow out of here, man. Fergie.
Making songs with Lil Nas X.
That was a hit. It was a hit. I ain't gonna lie. One of my other favorites, NBA YoungBoy, also made a fire song with Lil Nas X, so I can't really hate. But nah, like I don't know.
No, I'm not hating. I'm saying like he made a song with Lil Nas X. That's dope.
Nah, I feel like he was not saying it was dope. I feel like he was saying it like, nah, to take away your credibility. But who's also been very quiet recently. We haven't really heard from Lil Nas X. I don't know why, but
You heard his latest project?
Lil Nas X?
Yeah.
I didn't know he dropped nothing.
No? Jermaine, you heard it?
Definitely not.
Well, with that being said, man, thank you so much for joining us on this very another discombobulated episode of the Friends Podcast, man. If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Other than that, man, we're gonna talk to y'all next time. And we out. Peace out.
Out.
Peace.